Welcome into Snow The Goalie. We are live at Chickies and Pete's in Warrington, Pennsylvania. And there was a chance that we could have been preparing for a Game 7, which would have been a terrible, terrible outcome. But instead, your team, your town, your Philadelphia Flyers, they got the job done at home. 60 minutes was not enough. Oh no, boys. They had to go to an OT, and none other than Darth Vladar came up massive. A 42-save masterclass, and Cam York, cool as you like. Nice little ding, and sends the fans into a frenzy. Sends the Flyers into the second round.
Yeah, look, I got to be honest with you guys. I've barely slept the last 24 hours. I didn't get home, obviously from the arena last night till well after 1 a.m. I had to be down at the ballpark this morning for the Phillies. And now I drove all the way the heck out here to Chickies and Pete's in Warrington. But I think it was all worth it.
Bundy, there's a guy somewhere,
right?
Building walls, like working with his hands, building buildings, concrete, welding right now, listening to the show, listening to Anthony complain about having to go to
a Phillies game.
Look, there is a difference between
Buddy, not going to a game, having to go down to the ballpark.
I don't begrudge
in the clubhouse.
I don't begrudge any laborer for their job. Like their work is incredibly difficult, incredibly hard, and incredibly tiring. Yeah. But you do have to admit that there is a mental tiredness too that is difficult to deal with, right?
I got home and almost won last night.
Killed you, right? It was tough, right? So it's there. But it's worth it sometimes when you have an event like the Flyers winning that game last night. Yep. Like, had the Flyers not won that game last night, we would have been sitting here with a bunch of nervous fans, all panicked about the series being over, or like they're going to blow the series. Yep. Bundy would be eating the seafood boil here at Chickies and Pete's instead of his normal.
Bundy there's still time, right?
Right?
Yeah, I'm full though. I got enough in me, so I didn't.
We got next week seafood boil.
Yeah, it would have been a very tense environment for this show.
Yes.
Today we're relaxed. It's sunny out. Everybody's happy, right? It's a fun day.
Yes.
So, yeah, I mean it's
amazing what a difference one game can make.
It's amazing what happens. Well, yes, but I'm still having a hard time getting past where we were 6 weeks ago versus where we are today. I can't let go of that, Bundy.
But where they were in the standings, you mean?
Well, I mean,
that they were able to.
6 weeks ago, we were all saying no shot at making the playoffs.
Right.
No shot. And not only did they make it, now they've won a round.
They won a round. Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's the part that I'm having a hard time getting into my head. Like that this is actually happening.
Yeah, and they did it in 6 games. I thought it was going to be 6 games. They got it done in 6 games. I think when you look at the series, I think Pittsburgh was probably the team anybody would have licked their chops to play.
Yeah.
I think so. Yep. I think that's probably a fair statement to make. I thought the Flyers are a better team than them. They got a little bit outplayed last night later in that game by the Pens, but Flyers still prevailed, and I think they're still the better hockey team than Pittsburgh is. And certainly are going forward.
I will say this, Bundy, and I agreed with you that they were the better team, hands down. The one thing that the one advantage the Penguins had over the Flyers was the Flyers didn't quite know how to close out a series.
Right.
And the Penguins, being a veteran team, kind of knew how to hang around.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But we had talked about it before the game that even seeing the best of the Penguins, we still weren't that impressed.
I wasn't. No.
Right?
Yeah.
But they knew how to hang around in the game.
Yeah.
And that was the thing. And it was just a matter of, for the Flyers, can we get over that last little bridge, right? Your kids are here.
Yeah.
You guys ever watch? Kids ever watch Dora the Explorer, or is that too old for them?
No.
Never once.
They know. I'm sure they know what it is.
But the troll that was under the bridge, right?
There's a troll under a bridge. In Dora, there's a troll. Is there really?
Are you serious that you don't know this?
I think my kids were on the Dora the Explorer, but I don't remember the troll.
Do you know why Dora's a good name for Dora, by the way?
Why is that?
Because in Spanish, the word for female explorer is exploradora.
Oh, is it really?
So Dora, there you go.
There you go. Very nice.
Bilingual podcast.
Yes, but anyway, the point is that they always had to figure out how to get past the troll on the bridge, and they had to always solve the problem to get past it. The Penguins,
grumpy old troll.
Right,
I'll pull him up on the screen.
I'm not mistaken, right?
I don't remember this
The
thing.
point
Remember
is,
swiper, no swiping.
yes, of course, but he was a thief.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
It was never proven in court.
That's right.
Don't
But the
besmirch
point
his
is that the Flyers needed to figure out how to get past that troll, right?
Yeah.
And the Penguins were the troll. Okay? They had to figure out how to get past that troll. And that's what they had to do. Now that they've done it, it's different, Bundy, right? Like now you have the experience. Now you know what it takes to win a series.
Right.
You may not win the next series, but you at least know going forward, hey, I have to give this much more of myself.
Right.
To get there, right? And
Yeah.
you remember what that was like.
Yeah, I do. And it is everybody up in their game, everybody being better in the moment in that specific game to close out a series. I mean, they always say you have to play your best game to close out a series or be at your best, or someone's got to be at their best.
Yeah.
And last night it was Vladar.
Right.
That was absolutely shined last night, and the Flyers figured out a way to get one over in the Pens and close the series out for it.
Because they didn't, and Tocchet even said it after the game. He said, we wanted to have our A game, but if you don't have your A game, you have to have your B game.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And Vladar had his A game.
Yeah.
The rest may have had a B game or less, but that was enough.
Mm-hmm.
That was all it took because Vladar had his A game. And we said, you remember we were here 2 weeks ago doing the preview at this very spot at this Chickies and Pete's in Warrington. And we sat here and we said the difference in this series is who's going to get better goaltending.
Mm-hmm.
And
we knew that it was easily.
We knew up front that Vladar was, you say easily, I don't think that Skinner was terrible. He had the one game where he gave up one, maybe 2 goals that weren't great. Other than that, I thought his 3 games were okay. Shilov's was really good.
Excellent.
It was really, really good. Right? So, like, to me, it was you needed to, when you have to have the edge in goaltending, it needed to be superior goaltending. Like, it wasn't, you couldn't just be good. Because if Dan Vladar was just good in this series, Flyers lost.
Yeah, they would have lost. Yeah.
Right? So the fact that he had 2 shutouts and was a superior goaltender, an excellent goaltender, that is what made the difference to me.
Yeah. I mean, look at his numbers. I mean, I think he had a .937 save percentage and like a 1.67 goals against average.
It was great. It was unbelievable. It was something unbelievable. So,
by the way, we want to go out real quick to so people know what we're talking about here with the troll. Can we?
What are you
doing?
Can
we get the troll lined up here for a second? Oh, there he is.
Yeah,
that was the Dora troll right there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Who's that?
That was the Dora troll. You got to pay the troll toll. Do you remember?
The Dora troll.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
It's a joke, Anthony. It's a joke.
You spent all that time to pull that picture up on the screen.
Well, you were talking. You were talking a lot.
Jeez, it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
I'll tell you what's ridiculous: a 42 save performance in a closeout game. And I think this actually does. And I it's not that I don't want us to talk about the Penn series because obviously, like, it's important. But it's just like anything else, Bundy. Like, you're done a series, you're not thinking about what you just did. Now you're looking ahead to what is to come. And I think that the big learning from this series, I think it was 14 different players scored the 16 goals in the series for the Flyers in the first round, which one could argue is maybe a little bit problematic that, like, you don't have somebody who can take over consistently. But
can I add one more thing to that stat
and
let you continue? Of the 14, 9 of them were the first ever playoff goal for those individuals.
Yeah, they're getting balanced scoring up and down the lineup.
I mean, just saying, like you had 9 guys score their first score goal from the playoffs for the first time.
Yeah.
So it's even that much more impressive.
Yep.
Go ahead. Continue your point.
Well, you have that. And so you have this wide dearth of scoring, right? This wide group of guys that are able to find the back of the net. And a lot of them score their first time ever in the playoffs, which is great. But I think the big thing that you take away is, would Vladar be able to take what was an excellent regular season that none of us saw coming? And if we brought Danny Briere on the show right now and asked him, did you think that this was the guy you're getting? I bet you he'd say no.
Nope.
Can he become a playoff performer in the same level and not alternate with Sam Ersson? Even when, he caught that knock in game 3 where you were a little bit worried about potential injury, can he shoulder the load and be a number 1? You got the proof that not only could be the number 1, but in the case of last night, he can take you the distance into overtime and put up one of the best performances that we've seen in net for the Flyers in over a decade.
Well, what I think is one of the more interesting things that you said yesterday. You said to me, and I don't know if you said this on air in post game. I don't remember if you did or not. I don't think you did. I watched almost all of it. I think I missed the last minute and a half of it. So if you said it there, I apologize. But you said to me that it's quite possible that Dan Vladar is the best goalie remaining in the playoffs in the second round.
If Vasilevsky
if Tampa loses.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about it, and he might be right, Bundy.
He might be, yeah. He might be the best of the rest.
Like,
yeah,
if you look around, if you look at the 8 goalies that are going to probably be left, I mean, there's a couple, I mean, I don't know. I guess if Dallas gets in, you probably still say Ottinger's better.
Yeah, maybe.
Right?
I'm not sure about that.
Yeah. I mean, I would say probably.
Okay.
Probably. Maybe it's
well,
arguably.
If you're looking
right?
at the full body of work of the career is short, but I'm basing that obviously on this season.
Yeah. Oh, he's had a better season than Ottinger this year, for sure.
Because I put this out yesterday when the Vezina finalists were announced. But when you take a look at how he stacks up against Sorokin, Swayman, and Vasilevsky has to win the Vezina. I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah, he went on an unbelievable run this year.
39 wins. That was most in the league. He had a 2.31 goals against. That's second in the league. 9-12 save percentage is third. Like, he has to win. There's no doubt about it. But when you compare Vladar versus Swayman and Sorokin, only one of those guys ended up in the top 5 in goals against. Vladar was third in goals against average.
Yeah, goals against is more of a team stat than it is an individual goalie stat. But yeah, sure.
I mean, it's a pretty big disparity. It's third versus 19th for Sorokin, 23rd for Swayman. I don't know. I look at his numbers holistically, and I think that you could make a case there should be down ballot Vezina votes.
I would be stunned if there weren't.
For Dan Vladar.
I would be stunned if there weren't. Because I think that the GMs vote for that award, and I believe that they will look at it and say, what goalie made their team better? I think you're going to see some votes for that as well. It's not just going to be based purely off the statistics.
Yeah.
And so I think you look at that and say, of these goalies, which one meant the most to their team? I think that's why Sorokin got a lot of votes.
I think
right?
Sorokin, yeah.
Because it was him and Matthew Schaefer were the Islanders.
Yeah.
They had nothing else besides those two guys, right?
Yeah.
True.
So I think that's why he got a lot of the votes and he's a finalist. But Vladar,
if Vladar doesn't miss that time in January,
he
maybe
might
gets the extra 2 wins.
Maybe
Swayman, and then maybe you're talking about him being a finalist.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the point last night was, if Vasilevsky is out, right? If Tampa gets knocked out in the first round, I think there is a case to be made that Vladar on this season alone is the best goalie remaining. And how much of an advantage is that? I don't know. Like, Bundy, when you think about it, obviously we talk about you want to be hot going into the playoffs. You want to be hot in the playoffs. You want to have elite goaltending. There's a massive talent disparity between the skaters on the Flyers and the Hurricanes. Maybe the disparity in net isn't so stark, but when you look at it, do you look at that and say, Vladar is so good, he could potentially go out and win you a game on his own, one of these games, and maybe instead of it being what some think could be a sweep or a 5-game, maybe you can make it a 6-game series.
Well,
Give yourself a shot.
You look at it in this series, he won 2 games for them by himself, so can he do that again, steal a game, give the team a chance to win another one on their own? That's what you're hoping for from your goaltender in the playoffs. So, I mean, I don't see any reason why he can't continue to be brilliant, to be the kind of goaltender that they need. And can he win them another series on his own? Yeah, he can.
Yeah.
I mean, he can really extend this thing for some time if you have great goaltending, and the Flyers have been thus far provided with some great goaltending.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's interesting. Can we pop up Coach Jay, his little chat, his little comment there? Vladar greater than Hart. And the only reason I wanted to bring that one up is because if you remember last summer, as we were approaching the free agency deadline, there was a conversation. What were the Flyers going to do in goal along with Sam Ersson?
Yeah.
And there was a real thought of let's hold out for Carter Hart.
Yeah,
there was some discussion.
Yeah.
There was honest to God discussion within the organization that's what they were going to do.
Mm-hmm.
They signed Vladar instead. I should say instead. They signed Vladar still holding out hope.
Yes.
That Carter Hart would sign with them.
Yeah.
Until Carter Hart said, no, I'm out.
Mm-hmm.
Can we just circle back and just imagine that it went the other way?
What a corporate term out of you, circle back.
Like, what would that have been like this year?
Yeah, it would have been wild.
It would have been a circus.
It would have been a zoo, yeah.
It
would
would
have
total
been
circus.
Yeah.
Right?
And
Yeah.
by the way, newsflash, he's not an elite goalie.
No.
Yeah, he's given up 4 a game.
Yeah,
almost.
he's not.
They're having a Vegas 7 to score
He's got
5
an
tonight to win.
888. He has an 888 save percentage.
Yeah.
Carter Hart does right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, like,
302 goals.
There are two moves in the last couple of years that the Flyers did not make. Well, actually, probably three
that they wanted to make that didn't come to fruition or whatever.
Three.
Sanheim is one. The Torrey Krug turning down the trade.
Correct.
The Carter Hart turning down.
And trading Risto at the deadline.
Yeah, I mean Risto's been really good.
Yeah,
really good.
Playoff Risto has lived up somewhere by a lake or something, whatever the Canadians do, or somewhere out in Minnesota. He loves Minnesota. Chuck Fletcher is just smiling to himself, thinking about Rasmus Ristolainen pulling it off his playoff Risto.
But
that alone might get him another job in this league.
But think about those three things. If those three things happened differently, what does this Flyers team look like right now?
Yeah.
They're not nowhere close to a playoff team.
No.
No Sanheim, no Risto, and Carter Hart instead of Dan Vladar.
Right. Yeah. They're probably not making the playoffs.
Not even close. Right.
They might be picking 9. Maybe
they'd probably be worse than that.
Maybe
worse than that. So anyway.
And you know what? Before we continue, because there are a lot of other things we have to get to, and of course the Kane series, maybe some of the best performers. We'll get to the player of the week here in a second. We have to remind people that we are currently at Chickie's Pizza in Warrington, Pennsylvania. Each and every week, we come out, we do Snow the Goalie at one of the 17 different locations in the general Philadelphia area, the greater Philadelphia area.
Yeah.
And you and
they're
I.
Starting to fill in here today.
They are.
Yeah, it's good.
Listen, you and I, we've been doing a lot of travel of late.
Yes.
And I always tell people, we don't I don't think they count in the 17 locations all of the ones at the Philadelphia International Airport.
No, they do
not.
I'll
tell you what, there's nothing better when you're about to go out on a flight than to go in and hit up a Chickie's.
Which I might have to do tomorrow.
Get some crab fries. It's a great thing.
Fly down to Carolina. You should drive.
Come on, really?
Yeah,
8
drive
hours.
to Carolina.
It's not even
What's
7
wrong with
hours.
Why won't you drive?
By myself. Just get in the
why
car
not?
and
Get in
drive.
the car. Yeah. A little bit of quiet, little peace and quiet.
I don't want to do that.
You can, turn on your favorite playlist,
I could be in up and down in an airplane in an hour and a half.
What's the name of the singer that the guys are listening to after games? Olivia Dean.
Olivia Dean. Yeah.
You could put on some Olivia Dean. Maybe do a little Celine Dion on your way down.
By the way, did you
North
catch
Carolina?
that they did a little knock during the game?
They did. It was after they did
the
the main song. Yeah. They brought back the Mac Miller knock.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Little knock.
I'll tell you what. We have to talk about the things that the team has gotten right in the experience after this. But
yeah, anyway.
17 locations of the greater Philadelphia area. Come on out. You can do one of what a lot of people are doing. I mean, we're looking around right now. We're seeing pizza. We're seeing crab fries. You got the Krabby Sweets. Bundy and I, of course, indulge in the cold shrimp. He got the clam chowder. I got the grilled chicken sandwich. We'll keep an eye on what everybody's getting out there. You can get mussels. That looks like a salad. Delicious salad, sir. We got a thumbs up. Nice salad over there.
Eating healthy.
But you come on out to one of the 17 locations in the greater Philadelphia area. There is no better place to watch a game. If you cannot make it out to the Xfinity Mobile Arena or Citizens Bank Park and you want to watch a game, there's no better place to go than Chickies and Pete's. Come on out. Try it today. What is so funny? What happened to you?
So Rob Parent, the writer,
long time, the guy that you tried to get to,
long time hockey writer. He's watching the show and he sent a tweet that says, "When you guys going to be buying Bundy a laptop?" Since
he
you
has
have
a laptop,
one,
but he didn't.
I know he just doesn't.
I just don't bring it to Chickie's.
He doesn't bring it to the Chickie show. Yeah. Anyway,
that is a good question.
That is a good question.
Rob's asking the real questions that need to be asked.
And you know where Rob is right now? This is the best part
he's
about
not at
this.
Chickies and Pete's.
But he's watching. So he's watching us. You know where he's at?
Probably at the ballpark.
At the ballpark in the Phillies press box.
Is he gonna go down to the clubhouse?
But he should be watching the Phillies game.
Nah,
because he's reporting for the Associated Press. But instead, he's watching us.
You think Topper's watching us tonight?
He might be
watching us.
Yeah,
he might be
watching
he's
us.
A big
tonight.
hockey guy.
Yeah, big hockey guy.
Topper, if you're out there, just want you to know, I don't blame you. I blame Dave Dombrowski. I blame him. All right.
There you go.
All right. And I blame those gutless guys that you used to manage. That's who I blame. It's not your fault, Topper.
You're
a good man out there.
He is a good man.
I hope he gets to enjoy the pool that he said his wife put in like a year or two ago.
Yeah, good man.
So good for him. Good, a good human being. He seems like a genuinely good dude. We do wish him well.
He does. Here's the thing that we got to get to, as we do every week. The Payroll Service Solutions Player of the Week. I almost feel like Payroll Service Solutions needs to hire Dan Vladar as a spokesperson.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we've named Dan Vladar the Payroll Service Solutions Player of the Week a dozen times.
At least.
Like a dozen times.
We need intern Andrew or video guy Amadeo to go back and do a count. We need a
video guy Amadeo. Here's what's if you go back through every episode and just find every time we've named Dan Vladar and just clip them together and make a little 30-second thing. That will be our future commercial for Payroll Service Solutions. Call them today, 1-866-PAY-EASY. That's 1-866-PAY-EASY.
Can we rename the award the Dan Vladar of the Week award?
This is what we should do, right? I mean, is there anyone else to even give this to?
No, it's Vladar again.
Easily,
Hands down.
right?
Easily.
Yeah.
Easily.
I mean, I don't think that there's anyone even close.
No. No.
I mean, like I said, the defensemen were impressive. Like, I
Yeah.
thought that the defense played great. But it's Vladar. I mean, two shutouts in 4 games.
Yeah.
You know?
Remarkable.
It's pretty damn impressive. So you don't have anybody else. So we're going unanimous on this one?
No, I mean, that's got
Intern Andrew, you
that's
with
gotta
us?
be the pick.
You're not with us? Oh, you are with us.
He is with us.
Yeah. I mean, like, you're with us. Mentally, you're with us, right? Okay, all right. Just making sure. All
He's
right.
here in body, mind, and spirit.
He came in a huff.
He did. I don't know what happened.
I don't know. You think he hit traffic? And that's probably what the problem was? And he got here like really
we're
last
getting a
minute?
nod out of him. He hit traffic.
Yeah, he looks exhausted.
You okay?
Did you take a nap today? There was a time he took the nap and didn't show up.
Hey there, big fella. How you
Oh, that
hooked
wasn't
up?
here. That was
Hey,
you
up,
didn't send in your prediction.
Do you want to say?
So we gave you a 9-0 prediction, right? Or 9-8 prediction, something like that. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, so that is it. Dan Vladar, once again, is the Payroll Service Solutions Player of the Week, brought to you by Payroll Service Solutions. Call them today, 1-866-PAY-EASY for if you're a small or a medium-sized business, they can handle all of your payroll service needs. Once again, Payroll Service Solutions, 1-866-PAY-EASY. That's it. The commercial's over.
No, I was just trying to figure out what's going on over here.
Oh, there's always a conversation.
Yeah, we got lots going on.
I know. I go.
And
Chris is talking to the manager, and something's. I don't know if anything's feeding out. Are we feeding out into the other room, and people are
Trying to
annoyed?
figure out is Anthony going to have to
I
throw
don't
down
know.
the gloves? Anyway,
Yeah,
so let's get into the buzzsaw
that's coming.
that's on the horizon.
Yes.
The eye of the storm is on its way. Now, technically, the Flyers have to either fly or drive or take a train into the eye of the storm. But you're about to have the Philadelphia Flyers take on the Carolina Hurricanes, and it's a Hurricanes team that swept the Senators. Former Flyer Claude Giroux. They could not muster a win.
Couldn't take a lead in the series. Never had a lead.
Brady Tkachuk looks and sounds absolutely defeated. So they get swept. Don't have a lead the entire series. What do you make of it, Bundy?
Well,
Was it pure domination out of the
It
Hurricanes?
was, yeah, and the way they play. See, the thing with Carolina, they're a great puck possession team, and when they're on their game, I think I heard Booth say this earlier, but I was thinking the same thing. They look like they have a power play going on when they're really cooking.
Yeah.
And that's a problem. The way that they handle the puck, hang on to the puck, forecheck. They got size, they got skill, they got speed, they got great D. They got Freddie Anderson playing well right now, which might be one of their weak spots when you look at them at the end of the day. But they are, to me, the best team in the Eastern Conference, and to get one over on them is going to take a monumental effort.
Yeah, I mean, goaltending is the only advantage the Flyers.
Yes.
Like, there's everything else. 5-on-5, as good as the Flyers are, 5-on-5, Carolina's better.
Yes,
right?
They are. Yep.
Carolina's got a good power play. Flyers power play stinks.
Yeah.
Carolina's got the best penalty kill in the NHL.
Yeah.
They also score a ton of shorthanded goals. Flyers shorthanded, mediocre at best. Right? Like,
you're painting a rosy picture.
it's not. This is a whole different animal. I think it's really exciting for Philadelphia that the Flyers are where they are again, and you should enjoy every bit of this. I mean, this is house money they're playing with at this point, right? They're going to be one of the last 8 teams out of 32 playing hockey this year.
Yep.
That's an unbelievable thing to think about, considering where they were just a year ago at this time, right? Having just fired a coach, I don't think they had hired Tocchet yet, right? Was he a May hire?
He was hired in May. Yes,
yeah.
I
So
believe,
wasn't they hadn't even hired Tocchet yet a year ago, right? And so now here they are, one of the last 8 teams in the NHL playoffs. That is an accomplishment and a half.
Yep.
You're going to see something completely different in the next round.
Correct.
I'm just warning everyone. I'm not trying to rain on your parade. Celebrate what just happened yesterday. Enjoy it. But this is going to be difficult, guys. It just really, really is. It's going to be real. People can boo.
You got to boo from the crowd.
That's all right. It's all right.
Warranted.
It's all right. It's all right. It's totally fine. You have to. Tocchet talked about A games. They're going to have to play an A+ game every game.
Yeah. There's no room for error with Carolina.
Just none.
And they're another team, too, that has a lot to prove, too.
Sure.
Like, they're not a team that just won the cup and they're feeling satisfied. They're a hungry hockey team.
Yeah.
that's been thrown, it's been gone through the gauntlet. They've lost to Florida a couple of years in a row when the Panthers went on to win the Cup. So they've been kind of victimized by them, and they probably feel like this is their year with their hunger and their desire to try to win a Cup. This will be their best chance to get to the finals.
Yeah, it really is. And then even when you look at it, so, if you look at their path, they blew apart Ottawa, who should have been better than they were, but they weren't.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now they get the Flyers, who are going to be a heavy favorite against. And then
minus 275 favorite.
Yeah, and
is that what it is for the series?
It's unbelievable. Like
yeah.
that just goes to show you just how lopsided this could be.
Mm-hmm.
And then you look at what's going on in the other division, the Atlantic Division. I mean, teams can still come back, but it's probably going to be Buffalo, Montreal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and neither of those teams are good enough to beat Carolina.
No, I agree.
I think Tampa was the only one with their experience, and obviously, if Vasilevsky's playing the way he was playing earlier this year, he's not played great in this first round against Montreal.
Yeah,
still could turn it around, of course. But
I'm not convinced that Montreal is going to win that one.
Look, Tampa was the team I had going to the final. I mean, I said it on this program 2 weeks ago, and they're one game away from being eliminated.
Yep.
So I think if that holds as is right now, and it ends up being Buffalo, Montreal, I don't see who stops Carolina from going to the final.
The Philadelphia Flyers.
Well, because give them a hell of a round. If they come out and play the kind of game where they've played their best hockey, they can make games out of it for sure.
And that's so there's like a way that I can look at this without being like a totally insane homer, right? But I think if you look at it, you go, all right, if the Flyers had won one of those wild card spots and had to play Carolina in the first round, they would have gotten boat raced. Like I don't think that it would have been much different from what happened with Ottawa. But because these guys have now had the ability, and Bundy, we talked about it before the playoffs got started. You have all these young guys and some of the vets, like the Ristos of the world, who hadn't played in the playoffs, and guys like Konechny and Sanheim who haven't done it in 5-6 years.
Yeah.
You get those jitters out of your system, or at least the main ones, right? Yeah. You get the preparation. You understand what it's like to get ready with the days off in between, the travel, all that. You get all of that out of the way. And now, most importantly, it took you 3 attempts, but you figured out how to close out a series. All of a sudden, it makes me say, I don't think the Flyers are. We'll do predictions later. But I'm not saying that they'll win it, but I do think that they're going to be able to take Carolina further in this series than most people would want to give them credit for. And again, I think a lot of it really does come down to, I think that Vladar on his own can pull a performance out like he did last night, and he can win you a game single-handedly. The question is then, can you get enough scoring from this team, which is suspect? Can you get enough scoring to win another one?
Well, here's the thing that I find most interesting, and Bundy, I'll ask you to address this one. So Tocchet last night in the post-game press conference says you can't keep playing rope-a-dope hockey.
Right.
And he was talking about how they played last night, right?
Yeah, they bent, and they didn't break.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And basically it was almost like, we're going to let you – it's the whole Muhammad Ali thing. We're going to let you hit me, and then I'm going to surprise you with a punch that you're not expecting. I'm going to knock you out, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, you can't play that way against everybody. Maybe you could get away with that against Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
You can't get away with that against other teams.
No.
And so if they can't do that, if they can't play that way against, say, a Carolina – what can they do differently to give themselves an opportunity to be able to compete with a Carolina, or at least stay in the series with Carolina?
Well, I think the biggest thing is getting their power play going. If they could ever get that going, that would be number one.
Yes.
That would be the top of the chart for me, is trying to get that power play executing. And secondly, getting that forecheck and establishing zone time. If they can do that and get on their D and then make it a little bit tough on the Carolina defense down low on cycles and chances to the front of the net. They have good defense. Slavin's a good defenseman. Chatfield's a good defenseman. Ghost is a guy who's not great defensively. You could take advantage of it. But there's some stuff the Flyers can do in this series that could give them a chance to make this a very competitive series where I could see it go deep. But everything is going to have to go their way because Carolina won't let up. They just keep coming at you in wave after wave after wave. That's how they play.
They're a possession monster.
Big time.
And if you thought possession was crazy in the third period in overtime last night, that was just an appetizer for what you're going to get from Carolina.
Yeah. And they get you, they tire you out, they wear you down, they keep you in the zone, they hem you in, and they score.
Yeah.
Okay. When you talk about division rivals, right, and this is in all sports, I think it certainly carries over to the NHL. The talent disparity between teams maybe doesn't matter as much because you played the team within your division so many times. you start to build up that understanding of what works and what doesn't. And then over the course of a series, that happens anyway, right? Is there anything to be said for the fact that the Flyers and the Hurricanes aren't quite as familiar with each other as the Flyers were with the Penguins, and so maybe that allows them to catch Carolina a little bit off guard?
The only difference you've had with Pittsburgh in the last 15 years is a couple playoff series.
Yeah.
You haven't played Carolina, but in terms of you seeing in a regular season, you've seen them the exact same amount of times you've seen Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
You know, it's a little closer flight to Pittsburgh, maybe 15 minutes shorter flight, but that's it. You know, you've played them as many times, and the Flyers have had a brutal, like they've won one game of their last 18 against Carolina.
So here's the interesting thing for me. So when you look at what they played this year, 4 games, every one of them went overtime or shootout.
Yep.
But the first 3 were within the first month of the season.
Yes.
And the last one, Carolina sat 6 people.
They were putting defensemen in the shootout.
And defensemen in the shootout, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not sure that the Flyers have seen the full Carolina that is going in the playoffs,
and
Carolina
hasn't seen this version of the Flyers, you know, in the same
way. Other than, I mean, obviously they had to win that game, but it wasn't their full team that was out there, right? So I think that's the thing. So maybe there is a little bit less familiarity in that sense, and maybe you can jump out on them early in game 1 because it's like a feeling out. Like maybe Carolina's trying to feel you out a little bit, and maybe you can take advantage of that.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can think of, Bundy, that maybe you could steal a quick advantage.
The Flyers are definitely a fresh look for Carolina as well. Like the team that they have together now, like the players are playing better. They've bought into a better structure and a better defensive system than they were playing pre-Olympic break. Yeah. They've added Martone and Forster back into the lineup, which, you know, you can't really account for those guys when you haven't seen them. So those will be kind of new things to the eyes of the Carolina Hurricanes that they're going to have to make adjustments to and be aware of.
So yeah, I mean, you know, I would love to sit here and tell you that I think that there's a real good chance for them to. I would love to say it.
Then say it.
Coward. I can't say it. I'm not going to lie to the people. You know.
Sometimes you got to lie to those you love.
Well,
you know, it's that little white lie in those horror movies. And look, you got to look at your...
I know the commenters are saying it. You know, Vineet is saying he wants Shill Anthony back, right?
Yeah, that's right.
They want me to be the shill again,
do you want me to get the shill stamp out? Go
ahead. Get the shill stamp. Go right ahead. Put the shill stamp.
You got to say something shill-like.
You want me to say something shill-like? Dan Vladar can, in fact, steal 2 wins in this next series, and that could give them an opportunity to beat the Carolina Hurricanes.
All right, there's the shill stamp.
Stamp.
Although I think you're right. I think that actually would be true.
That's the only thing I can say.
Yeah.
That's really the only. Like, Bundy, can you think of another thing that you sit there and go, oh, yeah, they could do this and get an advantage against Carolina outside of goaltending?
No.
Right?
I can't.
I have a hard time coming up with it.
And that's nothing against the Flyers. That's just who they're playing. They're playing a really, really good hockey team that plays the game the right way. Love puck possession. They love scoring goals. They're solid defensively. They have a very good hockey team.
Just play this one out.
Okay, go ahead.
Do you think that it would be fair to say that whoever wins this series should then be favored in the
the Flyers? Even if the Flyers upset Carolina,
you think that if the Flyers can somehow take down Carolina,
how can you imagine them being favored against Buffalo or Tampa? Or even Montreal. Montreal would be the one that's
against Montreal.
Montreal would be closer to even, but Montreal would still be favored. They're not favored against Tampa. They're not favored against Buffalo. They're just not.
In our hearts, they could be.
Fine, but I'm telling you,
the odds makers aren't.
Odds makers are not going to make them the favorite, right?
Not against Buffalo. I think Buffalo is really good too. They're a really good team.
And those fans have also been waiting a long time.
They have. There's a lot of teams left that have a lot to prove.
Yeah.
Buffalo, Montreal, Carolina. The Flyers are upcoming. You know, they're on the upswing. Tampa's won 2 Stanley Cups a while ago. I don't know if the desperation's there, you know, when you have that. But, I mean, they obviously have had a great year. They want to continue in the playoffs. I'm just saying Montreal's got a 3-2 lead in that series now.
You know what's the most interesting thing about when I like watching Tampa? When I just like watching their coach, John Cooper.
Yeah, he's a pretty cool cat, huh?
When he's a cool cat, I say to myself, Tampa's going to win this game.
Right.
When he starts getting passionate, I'm like, uh-oh, they're in trouble.
Right.
They're in trouble. He doesn't like the way his team's playing, so he's going after the refs or he's, yelling on the ice. I'm like, okay, all right. He's worried about his team. When he's just standing back there looking good in his Versace suit, you know, looking like the lawyer that he is.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm like, they're not worried. He's not worried. They're
not worried. No,
they're gonna win this game. So anyway, that's my
I think John Cooper kind of looks a little bit like
who?
A little bit like Michael Keaton. You see a little Michael Keaton in him? Just a little bit.
A little bit. Just a little bit.
Like the Birdman version of Michael Keaton.
I get it. I see it.
I
see what you're saying.
I will miss all of the comparisons for Dan Muse. Moby, the dean from Community. There was the guy from one of the Christmas movies, like the claymation ones, bald guy with the glasses.
Yeah.
Master of Disguise, Dana Carvey.
Yes.
There were a lot of that.
He did look like a character.
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he acted like one too.
He did.
Ant, question for you.
Yeah.
This season, we've seen what a lot of people thought was going to be the retirement tour of Alex Ovechkin. I don't think it was. I think he's got one more year left.
I do too. And I'll tell you why, but go ahead.
There were questions coming out of this game and this series about whether or not you were going to see something like a I totally just lost my train of thought. That's never happened before. I don't know what.
You just brain cramped. It happens to me a lot.
I did.
See, this happens when you start getting older, Russ.
Yeah.
It happens all the time.
That was weird.
I have to constantly.
I just went totally blank.
I have to constantly remind myself of things I want to say.
Yeah.
And even then I forget sometimes.
Yeah.
Wait till you put another 15 years on that body. Let me know how.
I'm not going to need the full 15. 4 kids is going to age me up.
You're chasing these guys around all the time.
It's going to age me about 3. You know, it'll take me 3 years to age 15.
I'm watching your wife's facial expressions.
Yeah.
I don't think she buys it.
What?
Because I think, you know why? Because I think Nancy does all the work.
She does.
Right?
Oh, she does.
Yeah.
There's no doubt.
Anyway, think you can remember it? I'm trying to vamp
I was just saying,
to help you remember.
I was thinking about how Dan Muse was just, constantly complaining. Oh, I got it. Okay, so Ovechkin, there was the thought that he was going to retire. There were things coming out of this last game that, like, could this be the end for Crosby and Malkin? And Crosby, certainly no. Malkin, I think, is an interesting one. Like, I also don't think that he leaves the NHL without there being kind of like that final lap. But I thought that he showed a lot more of like the being human in this one. He had moments.
He was their best player, other than Shilov's.
Who?
Crosby.
No, I'm talking about Malkin. I'm saying
Malkin.
I'm saying Malkin showed moments of his best day. Like, he still has flashes.
Yeah,
but his best days are behind him. Crosby, Crosby to me, like,
somebody's going to.
He's certainly his age, but he's a wily vet, man. Like, Crosby.
Yeah, he's
how many
still
times
a really great
last
player.
night when the puck ends up on his stick, you're like, okay,
here we go.
Yeah,
like I thought every time.
I didn't feel that with Malkin in this series.
No,
me neither.
Like you used to.
Malkin's going to sign somewhere. He won't be in Pittsburgh next year. He'll sign somewhere. Somebody will sign him to an affordable deal. He'll go to a team that's got a chance to win. And be like Yager was towards the end, right?
Yeah.
Like just a hired gun, kind of go in there and help a team on their second line or whatever, right? Just be a point producer. I think Letang is done.
Yeah,
he looked like a shell of himself.
Yeah, at times, even though he had 2 game winners in the series, which is crazy.
The one was not even a real one, right?
They don't ask how; they ask how many.
Yeah. But he was a shell of himself. I don't think he's back. Crosby he's going to play another year in Pittsburgh, I think.
Yeah.
But I do wonder, like, does he just want to ride it out on a rebuilding Pittsburgh team, or does he want to take one more crack at it?
Depends what he wants to do after. I mean, he can go back there and be in management, high management, as soon as he's done. Just depends how much more he wants to do, and does he want to just play with one team his whole career?
I almost think that there's something to that.
Yeah,
especially
a little bit.
because he's won multiple cups. I think it's different if he hadn't won one, or if he's only if he only has one to his name.
Yeah,
but because he won multiple,
can you see Sid go to, like, look at a Montreal, right? Mm-hmm. Who's just lacking the veteran. Like, they have a lot of great young talent, but they don't have that. They don't have that great veteran leadership.
I guess he'd never come to Philly, would he?
Could you imagine that?
That would be unreal.
That would solve your 1C for you.
Could you imagine
that would solve your 1C? Yeah.
What's his contract up?
I think he's got 2 years left.
If you gave me the option of Sidney Crosby 2 years from now or Claude Giroux this offseason, I'll take Sidney Crosby in 2 years.
You're not going after Giroux.
I'll tell you what, Crosby, I feel like Crosby would have been one of the most beloved Flyers. The way that he is, I mean, not just because of the talent. I think that he would have kind of fit in perfectly.
He's got one more year. Crosby.
All right, so
Yeah.
you line up Sidney Crosby, you line up Quinn Hughes, and all of a sudden,
No, but I mean, we already know that you got guys like Austin Matthews, whose future is very much in question.
I think he gets moved
in
this
Toronto.
offseason.
I do too.
I think Kachuk might also.
Let me ask you this. This is completely outrageous, but I'm going to throw it out there anyway. You know, if Edmonton loses to Anaheim here tonight, right? It's game 6 tonight. They lose. Let's say they lose that game. Does Connor McDavid look at it and go, "I'm out"?
Well, Connor McDavid.
He's got 1 year left.
I know,
right?
but does he look at
But
it?
then they're going to look to trade him then next year, right?
That's-
They're not going to keep him. Just let
Well,
him go to
that's-
free
Well,
agency.
that's what I'm saying.
That's it.
Does he
You-
then go to them and say, "I gave you guys the opportunity. You never fixed the goaltending situation. You didn't fix the defensive situation. I can't win with this group. Send me somewhere else."
Yeah, and they might. They'll get a haul for him.
I'm just throwing that out there.
Connor McDavid to the Flyers. That'll cost you.
It'll cost you a
Everything.
lot.
That will cost you
you a lot.
Porter Martone.
everything.
It will cost you Drysdale.
Well, you know, the thing is though, like if it were to happen with 1 year left on the deal, while I think it would be a really high price, I mean, I think if you're a team looking to acquire, you probably hold off are you really going to gut your team for a guy who only has 1 year left on the deal? You know,
Well, you'd have
And-
something in
and-
place that he
and-
wants to stay.
yeah. Well, and then you'd also
The only reason I brought it up is let's not forget, even Wayne Gretzky was traded,
He was.
Sure.
Anybody can get traded.
right?
But do
Yeah.
you remember what I said when McDavid signed that deal? I said it's a dumb deal for him. The only reason that you do it is because you're trying to create a little bit of cap flexibility so that they could go out and get a better
Well, I also
goalie.
thought
You
he
put
was
them
putting,
on. You put them on notice.
yeah,
for
he was
2
putting
years.
he was putting
But I said
pressure,
like the Players
pressure on him.
Association had to light themselves on fire. That
Sure.
he went way below market value. He would certainly be an intriguing one. But
Yeah, it's
they showed you how incompetent they are at building and at addressing the situation in net.
they not only did they not address
They made it worse.
they made it worse, and they still didn't improve their defensive side of their game.
Yeah.
they're giving up 6 goals a game in the playoffs. Like, I mean, it's asinine.
Yeah.
That you're a team that's been to the Cup final and back-to-back years, and you know what kept you from winning a championship, and decided, we're not going to fix that.
Do you think that makes Skinner feel a little bit vindicated? Listen, Jari stinks.
In what way? He got pulled in the series against the Flyers.
But remember, he did have.
He was okay.
He had a good start.
He was okay.
I'm just saying that, you look across. But now, in fairness, Skinner was in net when they got to 2 Cup finals, and Edmonton is pretty much on the verge of things going very sideways and certainly not making it back that far.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah. No,
but what you're saying is
people
Matthews, Kachuk, and McDavid could all theoretically be
sure.
in some way, shape, or form. They'll be discussed.
People are asking what it would cost. I have no idea. But if I had to make just a stupid guess here, you're going to have to give up one of Martone, Michkov, Forster, one of those 3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're going to have to give up one of Drysdale, York, Sanheim, one of those 3.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to give up Toronto's first-round pick because it's going to be a lottery pick.
Yeah.
And maybe another one of your own. Maybe it's the 2028 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But another first-round pick and probably a prospect or 2 that are close to getting into the NHL.
Right.
Yeah.
That's just throwing it out. That's probably what it's costing you.
I think you actually
for Connor
make that
McDavid.
deal.
Well,
Of course you
from
make
a financial standpoint to the team, it's the right move to
Yeah.
make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll
make you so much money.
Yeah.
And because of the level that he takes you to. See, the thing with the Matthews of it all is because if Toronto fans were building out their trade proposals, it would sound a lot like that. And there's no way that you do that if you're the Flyers.
Right.
Or to be fair, for any team, given the injury that he's coming off of.
Right.
And Matthews isn't the same kind of difference maker, even remotely close to the
No,
same
he doesn't
as
look like the same
McDavid.
player. No.
So, I actually do, as much as I don't love the idea of the Flyers getting involved for an Austin Matthews this offseason, I'm not convinced that you have to cut the team. So the problem is if you have to trade too many assets, especially ones that are on the roster right now, you're not giving him a much better situation than he has in Toronto, right? You can actually make a case maybe you're giving him a worse situation. So I don't think he can elevate you. McDavid is certainly an interesting thing. And Bundy, if you have the conversation with him and his agent, and he effectively commits to re-signing, after the year, then sure, you open it up and maybe you do make what appears to be a painful trade. Initially.
I think the next team McDavid goes to is going to be the last team he plays for.
Really?
I do. I don't think he's going to go play for 3 or 4 teams like Gretzky did down the stretch. I think he's going to sign a 8-year deal extension for $20 million a year or whatever it is, and he'll sail into the sunset, and that's a team he's going to stay with. I think it's going to be an American team. I think it could be Philly. I think it could be Chicago. I think it could be New York or LA.
Well, I also think that if they're going to trade him, they'll trade him to the East.
Yes.
They won't keep him in the Western
Yeah.
Conference. So that's one thing. We have a super chat.
Hold on, let me ask you this real
All
quick.
right, go ahead.
I have it in the back of my mind. I think a lot of people do. Quinn Hughes, I still think, unless they win a cup, right? Unless Minnesota wins the cup, I think Hughes is still going to be in play when he hits free agency. Is there still a part of the Flyers calculus that they do on this offseason and going forward where they're kind of thinking to themselves, we still have a legitimate shot to go get our number 1 defenseman in not this upcoming offseason, but the
maybe
one
maybe the year after.
Yeah.
I don't think Minnesota. I think Minnesota's going.
Yeah, I'm not saying to trade for him. I'm saying when he hits free agency.
Yeah, I think.
Doing
Well,
that?
I mean, it depends if Minnesota. Like it really will depend on how well Minnesota does, not just this year but next year as well. Like, can they sign? Does he like Minnesota? Does he still want to stay there? And be the guy there, then signs a contract there, then you're SOL, right?
Yeah.
But if not, if he's like, I don't know if we can get past the Colorados and the Dallases of the world, and you have some other up and coming teams like San Jose who's going to be good in a couple of years, Chicago is going to be good in a couple of years. Like maybe I'll get out of the West and go East, maybe. So, I mean, I just think a lot will depend on what Minnesota looks like the rest of this playoff and then next year.
I think they're going to have a good team for the foreseeable future. Minnesota.
Well,
I do
too.
Yeah.
I mean, I like what they have there.
Yeah.
But does he want to stay there?
Right. It all depends whether he wants to play with his brother.
He wants to play with his brothers or be closer to his brother. Like we hear all this all the time, right? So anyway, I want to get to the super chat. Thank you to MRAW4Z for the super chat. Thank you very much. Question: do you think Danny is more judging performance, or is he just happy gaining experience? Does TK's play make him expendable? Is Risto now off the table? They're always judging performance.
Yeah,
always. Yes, experience matters, but they're always judging performance. So, yes, they're taking a lot out of what's happening in these playoffs and using that for the future. I don't think TK's play makes him more expendable because of his contract, and he has a no movement clause.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't think he's going anywhere.
8.75.
As for Risto, you could think about keeping him, but you only have him for one more year. You have young defensemen coming. So they've been talking about playing Oliver Bonk in these playoffs.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking about playing him in the playoffs, you're probably in your head saying he's in our top 6 next year.
Right.
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 Gierczek, they signed him to a 2-year contract.
That's a one-way deal.
It's a one-way deal.
So he factors to be in your top 6.
He's going to be in your pro lineup too. You got to make room for these guys.
Yeah.
They always said they could trade Ristolainen in the summer. I said this back at the deadline when everybody was yelling at me, or if you recall. I still think that they're going to trade him this summer. I really do believe that he's going to get moved, and you're going to get more for him now because of how he's played both in the Olympics,
if he stays healthy,
and in the of course he can't get hurt in the playoffs, of course.
Sure.
But based on how he played in both the Olympics and in the playoffs, I think he's worth probably more than what he was offered.
Right.
Yeah.
At the trade deadline.
Yeah.
Possible.
I think so. So I think that's where it's at.
Okay.
So
I think that answered all 3 questions.
we got another one, by the way.
Poo Nugs.
Yeah.
Poo Nugs. Thank you for the super chat. Says, just want to hear you guys say Poo Nugs. Let's go.
Let's go Flyers.
All right, Poonugs.
Yeah, that's what he said. Yeah.
T from the TO3 with a super chat as well. Thank you, T from the TO3. Says, with this playoff win, are the Flyers a free agent destination for McDavid or any other big name? Great work this season, Bundy, Ant, and Russ. Isn't this kind of what we talked about?
They definitely make themselves more attractive with the team they have now. They'll get players here. They have a likable coach. It's not Torts, where you're trying to get like a 30-year-old free agent or 29-year-old free agent in here, and then you find out Torts is your coach. That's a non-starter for a lot of guys. So you got a likable coach. you got a likable team, a team that's on the rise, absolutely will help attract free agents here now that they didn't have the luxury of before.
And the thing that I think is more in play, right, that we've talked about since the free agent class is like mostly, I mean, all the real impact guys are off it. The guys who have no movement, no trade clauses in their contracts that previously would have had Philly on there because it's been a largely bad team for a while. I would imagine that there are some guys that previously would have said, I don't want to go play there. You watch how this is playing out in the playoffs. You look at this young core, and I don't know, but like realistically, Bundy, do players look at the atmosphere, the crowd that they're going to be playing? Like that is
everything.
That's a real factor.
Absolutely. You look at everything, especially now in the world they live in. Guys want to know everything. They want to know what the fans are like. They want to know what the city's like. They want to know what the head coach is like behind the scenes, what the assistants are like, what the players are like, everything. What are the houses like? Where do we live? How far are we from the rink each way? All that stuff. Everybody wants pertinent information about every single thing that they would change their lifestyle. They want to know that it'll be the best situation for them and their families.
Schools, treatment of family,
all
like
of that,
kind of
doctors,
stuff.
all that stuff.
Which is where
hospitals,
we had Brian Boucher said at the carnival is the word getting around. Again, that the Flyers, from the family perspective, are kind of back there as well.
And it's important to point that out because a lot of these decisions, the wives have pretty substantial input.
More than they used to.
Yes.
It used to be before where a guy signed, like the wife wasn't even any of her business. Like when I was getting my second contract done, she never asked me one question the whole time.
Really?
Like I could have said, we're going to LA, and we would have been packed up and gone to LA within 2 weeks. It didn't. I signed back in Philadelphia for my third contract. It was.
Yeah.
And I stayed here. And that she was hoping that would be the case, but she had no input at all into that. Now everybody does.
I can think of a couple of not so distant long ago moves that may or may not have had.
Well, look at Chris Pronger. Didn't he put
spouse.
Chris Pronger put that in his book about signing with Edmonton? He never told his wife about it.
He
said they caught him at a bad time. Right?
He was out drinking.
Yeah.
And then he said because he had said to his wife beforehand, "Oh yeah, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it." And then it was like 2 a.m. and he had been drinking, and she was in bed, and he was on the phone, and he said, "Yeah, I'll sign," and didn't even discuss it with her.
And then the next morning, he was like, "Oh, by the way,
we're going to Edmonton.
We're going to Edmonton," and she hated it there.
Yeah. She was not happy. So, yeah, that happens.
Yep.
That happens. All right, Russ, we have about 6 minutes left.
Okay.
In the show. We don't know when game 1 is going to be. I have to imagine it's sometime this weekend or Monday at the latest.
What an abomination! Can we have a brief moment here? We said this with the first round of the playoffs.
This is the worst thing.
That it was like the NHL. It was like 36 hours before game 1 is when we found out when the Flyers were going to play, right? But in the NBA, it was the Sixers hadn't even played their play-in game against the Magic yet, and they released the schedule where it was, the Celtics. Here's the Celtics versus whoever wins the play-in game. Here's the entire schedule, all the nights and everything. And we're sitting there going, in the case of the Flyers, how do the people that own the building, right? How don't they know? How aren't they given any kind of clarity? We had Dan Hilferty on. Remember at the end of the regular season, he's like, I wish I knew. I'd like it to be this day and this day, but we don't know. And then it didn't end up being those days. We have no clue. And if you look at the way that the schedule could play out with the game 6s that are going today and tomorrow, there is a path where maybe if all of these series end, you can play Saturday. If it gets a little bit wonky, you can play Sunday. If all of these games or a couple of these games end up being game 7s over the weekend, you could talk about playing on Monday.
Yep.
It's a wide variance.
Yeah.
And the people that I think that ultimately hurts the most are the fans, especially the ones that are going to travel.
People preparing to go to the games.
Yeah.
Even if you're not traveling, even if you're local, right? Like, what if you have a job and you want to go to the game? I got to make sure I get my stuff covered and everything else. And you can't because you just don't know. You're going on blind faith, and it's all being dictated by television.
Yep.
I mean, that's really what it comes down to. This is ABC, Disney, and Turner that are dictating absolutely everything, and that's unfortunate. It's unfortunate for the fans, and it's unfortunate for the players. They don't know when they have to get on a plane, when they got like the Flyers are going to have a practice tomorrow, and they probably have to bring their luggage with them.
Yeah,
for a flight that they may or may not have to take tomorrow.
Yeah,
to go to Carolina.
Well, Tim Tobin says over here on the NHL side, it says no schedule will be announced until the entire first round is concluded. There's conflicting information, though.
That's not necessarily true.
Because the NHL typically does want to finish out the round before they start the next one. In the NBA, you can have overlap where there's a game 7 being played in the first round and game 1 of the second round, back to back. I don't like the idea at all of you starting the second round before the first round is fully.
I never like it, but
But I get it. But
TV,
it's a TV thing.
It's a TV thing.
Because they're going to want to have a game on Saturday and have a game on Sunday. You don't want to miss out on a weekend opportunity.
Yeah.
But, man, it feels a little bit wrong, a little bit gross.
Yeah, it sucks.
You know?
It sucks. So I'm going
to. And in your case, like if.
I got to book a flight, and I don't know what day.
Yep.
So I got to wait.
I think Ant should drive.
Yeah, seven
Do we
hours.
think Ant should drive? Well, there's
Yes.
thumbs up back there.
Yeah.
We're getting the plus.
I'd get in your car
Ant
and
should
drive.
drive.
These are the same guys who were booing me earlier. So now,
Well, good. I'm glad that they were. There we go. He just said he loves you, Ant. So, I mean, like, you know.
That's all good. All right. We got 3 minutes left. We got to make our predictions.
You're big on time.
Well, we got, you know.
What, do you want to do the season or the series?
Series, because
Okay.
because it's going to start before
Yeah.
we convene for Snow the Goalie again.
Okay.
So it's got to make a series prediction.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go first because I know it's going to be the one that nobody wants to hear. Yeah, because you don't want to end on a sour note. You guys are a little bit more hopeful than I am, right? But I'm going to sit here and tell you that I think that this is a big-time mismatch for the Flyers, no matter how hard they play, no matter how much they give you. And I think that they're going to stay in games, right? I think they'll stay in a couple games, but they're still going to lose them. And so I'm going to pick the Carolina Hurricanes to win this series in 5.
5?
Carolina in
You're
5.
gross. You should feel bad.
I think the Flyers learned some valuable lessons in the series against Pittsburgh. They have the better goaltender. They've played tight games against Carolina, but I still think they need another year to lose and to learn. I'm going Carolina in 7.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
3 flights for me to Raleigh, huh?
3 flights.
Yeah.
I've got the head and the heart. The head says Vladar wins a game, they outscore, and they pick up 2 wins and they get it done. But I am the eternal optimist. I said I thought 5 games could be in play with Pittsburgh, and it probably should have been. Got to get hot, got to have really good goaltending. They have the edge in goal. I'm going to take the Flyers in 6.
You're insane. You're insane.
And I will note, if the Flyers do somehow get by Carolina, it doesn't stop. Like at that point, you are fully on the Team of Destiny track.
Yeah.
So
I might join you at that point.
I'll go eternal optimist.
Yeah,
Flyers in 6.
Yeah, it's nice. Good luck. Good luck with that.
Oh, I hope so much that little smug line, Amadeo clips that. Flyers win in 6. We go back to that. We're going to make that a sound. Oh,
Please do. Please
that'd
do.
be great. What a wonderful
Well,
moment.
that'll be it for us here, Russell. We got to wrap it up here.
Yep.
Thanks, everybody.
Big thank you to everybody who came out here in Warrington, Chickies and Pete's.
Oh, yeah.
Now, we will be back next week. We don't know when and we don't know where because we don't know the schedule for the playoffs, but we'll let you know as soon as we can. And then don't forget, we'll be doing the Press Row Show live from Xfinity Mobile Arena in the arena. Go through section 121 at the glass doors, go up to the balcony, and come visit us every home game. And guys, we didn't know. We weren't sure if the playoffs were going to happen, but here we are getting ready for a second round series.
One thing I can promise you, there will not be a home game next Friday.
Why is that?
Bruce Springsteen.
Throw him out of the building.
You can.
If they sent Florence and her machine down to Atlantic City, they can send that no talent.
Dude, I don't even understand a word he says in his songs anyway.
That's correct. All right.
The good music there, boss. That's good stuff.
I'm not going to do Born in the USA at the Super Bowl because not everybody watching was born in the USA. You know what? Let's send him to Canada.
There you go.
Send him to Canada. Take the passport. They can have him. All right.
Awful.
Everybody have a great rest of your day, your night. Don't forget, like the video, share the video, subscribe. And if you're listening to the podcast feed, go subscribe there as well. All right. For everybody, I'm Russ. Have a great night.
See you, everyone.